Hey there, good morning. How is everybody today? I am so happy to be here with you. I love these Tuesday mornings. I'm always looking forward to Tuesday morning. And oh, there it goes. It says 1, 2, we're on. All right. So, good morning. I'm so glad to be here with you today. As always, I love our Tuesday mornings. I'm going to have to go back and check and see when we first started. It's been a couple of years now, and it'd be kind of fun just to go back and check and see how long it's been. So, I'll put that on my to-do list. So, I'll have to make myself a note after a while to go do that. So, anyway, how is everybody doing? I would love to hear from you. And as you see, my necklace just slid off. Don't you love it when those things happen? All right, so I didn't need that thing on anyway. I'm going to start out in the chat box and say hello, everybody. And if you would like to check in and say a quick hello, say where you are from, where do you live? I'm in Las Vegas. A couple weeks I'll be in Kansas City, at least so I hope, depending on what's going on. I tell you, it's a little bit concerning that some of the states now are starting to have a more active with the virus as things are opening up and people are getting back out in groups. Utah, which I'll be driving through, is now having a new outbreak. Arizona, so it's like, okay, so we have to really pay attention and be watching for what's out there. Good morning, Allison. Nice to have you this morning. Allison is in Kansas City, unless you're out of town, you might be someplace else, but in general, she's from the Kansas City area. And we have several things. Today is one of those busy days. If you're part of my group and following, we have right now our Facebook Live, and then at 8:30 my time, have the Jumpstart group. And I want to just mention to you that if you haven't joined, you still can. And I know some people didn't join because they thought they had to be there at the 8:30 Pacific time every day, which would be ideal. I mean, that would be the best if everybody could be there and on at the same time. But I know that that's not often feasible because there's doctor appointments and there's work situations and a whole bunch of other stuff. But you can still join. You could go back and watch the videos from the last couple of days and then finish the week out with us. So we still have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then if this is something that you feel is really benefiting you and you want to continue on with me, I will have a program right after that will be starting a week later, which we'll be doing once a week instead of once a day. So, but this was a way to keep us going and keep us connected and really get our minds in this new place. And it's called Jumpstart, and it's Renew Your Mind. And in these days that we're living in, I think anything we can do to stay positive, to be thinking in a different realm, instead of thinking what we cannot do, be looking at what we can. And we've done a lot of that talking here on our Facebook Live on Tuesdays. Good morning, Karen. It's great to have you. You've been on a lot of the things this week. I'm so excited. It's been great. So anyway, so today I am going to be talking to you about 4 things that can steal your time. All 4 of these may not fit you. Maybe none of them will. But these are things that pretty consistently can rob people's time from and hold you back from having what you desire, hold you back from the freedom and the joy and the happiness that you want, or even the success in your business. So it all, most all of these things, if y'all been paying attention, if you watch, the things that we talk about really go whatever realm. It can be from a business standpoint, from your personal standpoint, relationships with your kids, just as you work and volunteer in places. The concept, the principles that we talk about go through every walk of life, whatever it is. So that's the beauty of it. So whether you're working, because some of you are retired, I think Allison is retired, although she's not really because she's still working and volunteering and helping out. But whether you're retired or you're just doing things part-time, you don't have a business of your own, you're working for somebody else, it doesn't really matter. The principles of positive thinking and the various other things that we talk about really do relate to all areas. So that to me, that's a real blessing that it has the possibility of touching each one of you. So all right, so let's start right in. And I don't see anyone in the chat box just yet. Anybody else? So thank you too for showing up and saying hi. I love it when you send comments back because it's like, oh, somebody's really out there listening to me. It is so great. So we can have real conversation because I'm visualizing you just like you get to see me, I am visualizing you. Good morning, Grace. It's nice to have you here as well. So, yay, thanks for joining. All right, so let's talk about the 4 things that could possibly be stealing your time and holding you back for all that you want in your life. And for many people, it's a success in business and hitting goals from that standpoint. But it also can be in your relationships. Do you have that loving relationship that you want in your life? Do you have someone that you connect with? So all of these things that I'm going to say will fit in any of the areas wherever you are. All right. So the first one, and I know it's kind of like hard to stick it right out there. Oh, Ursula, good morning. Yay, I'm glad you're here. So the first one is forgiveness. Now, forgiveness is so, so important. And sometimes, guys, it's about forgiving yourself, but other times it's forgiving others. And here's the thing that I think really holds some people back from forgiveness is that you think that if you're forgiving them, that you're condoning the behavior. You're condoning what they did to you. Maybe you had a rough divorce and your spouse treated you terrible. Maybe they still are. I mean, I know many of you ladies that have ex-husbands that still just push on you and push on you. And it's an awful situation. And I know it's got to be hard. I haven't lived that particular thing, but I know that that's got to be hard. So forgiveness it's really forgiving them for what they've done, not condoning the behavior, not giving them an excuse, not telling them it's okay. It's forgiving them so you can release that from your own body. It is like a cancer. Most negative things do act like cancer. And since we all know what cancer does, how it ravages the body, and how just the pain that comes with having that disease, and we know how it can spread. But we also know that many times it can be healed. So that's what we're looking at. When you allow yourself to forgive the people that have hurt you, you are then you're getting rid of the cancer. Just think of it like that. You're getting rid of the cancer, and you're able to move forward. It doesn't affect them at all. The thing is, whether you forgive them or whether you don't, doesn't affect them. But it does affect you. It eats at you and pulls at you and holds you back. It holds you back from the blessings that God has for us. And we need to remember that, Jesus forgives us for everything. And none of us is perfect. We all have a sinful nature. We go to Jesus to be saved and give us a new mind and a new heart and have him as our Savior, right? So we need to forgive others just as Christ has forgiven us. And there are numerous scriptures. I didn't look any up this morning because I actually didn't know that that's exactly what I was going to say. So, sometimes the words just come out, and I'm not always sure where God's going to take me when I start talking on these things. But the forgiveness is number one. So that could be holding you back. And again, I was talking about others, but it's also forgiveness of yourself. Sure, you've made mistakes. Maybe you've done horrible things. Maybe you once were, maybe you are. Maybe an alcoholic or been on drugs. Maybe you've hurt your family. Maybe you've made some decisions that really made a huge difference against your future. That you've done some things that are hard to get over. Well, you have to forgive yourself. And many times we go to the cross and we ask for forgiveness, and Jesus forgives us. He promises us in his word. But we don't forgive ourselves. So consequently, you're always reliving it and rehashing it and beating up on yourself. And you can't move forward as long as you're doing that. You have to really believe in yourself, who God created you to be. You have to really believe that he does have a hope and a future, just like Jeremiah 29:11 says. You have to believe that you're called, that you've been set apart. Then it doesn't matter what has happened before. Your past, your sins, all of those things do not define you. They just don't. So believe God's word, forgive yourself, and forgive others. That is number one. All right. Number two is, it kind of goes along with this a little bit, but not the same. And that is, who are you blaming? We need to stop blaming our past. We're going to need to stop blaming the divorce. We need to stop blaming what happened to you as a child. There's a lot of meanness and a lot of evil in this world. Y'all, I know it. We see it on the TV every single day. If you watch it too much, you're going to go in a true state of depression. And that's where the enemy grabs our brain and says, there's no hope. And, why are you even trying? And all of these things that can come into your mind. But when we can stop blaming, we can't blame the world. We can't blame the economy. And in some ways, yeah, we are blaming COVID because that's sort of what made us have to stay at home. But more than that, I'm really talking about how oftentimes we blame other people. I can't leave this job because blah, blah, blah. My boss is so mean to me, I'll never make it ahead. Um, my mom belittled me when I was a child, and I just haven't gotten past that. Well, that is your choice. And I know it sounds harsh, guys, but the truth is if you don't like where you are, make a different choice. That's the beauty. That's the harshness, but that's the beauty. Because just like your choices, how you react to things, just like your choices got you to where you are, your choices will get you out of where you are and on a new path. That is exciting because that is the control. That is the control that you have. Nobody else can change your mind. Nobody can make those decisions for you. And what I really just love about that is that sometimes we don't even see it. But when we begin to see it, when we open our hearts and open our minds and pray that God will show us those things, that are holding us back. Maybe you're not even maybe you don't even know or not aware that you are blaming things in your life, people in your life. My first grade teacher did this or that, or in seventh grade, my homeroom teacher said this or that to me. Okay, so what? Let it go. You've acknowledged it. Let it go and move on, because that does not determine who you are. Just because somebody, even your best friend 3 weeks ago, who said something to you, out of they're tired of being home, you're tired of being home, whatever it is. Sometimes people say things that they don't really mean, or they don't mean them as hatefully as they sounded maybe. We really have to stop blaming others for the things that, for our not moving forward, our not being where we want to be. So really think about that. And again, a little bit of that, of the blaming others, goes back to forgiving, because sometimes we're blaming those that we really need to forgive. But oftentimes, too, we are just blaming situations. It's like, okay, I had to file bankruptcy because the society changed. Well, in some cases, that's true, maybe. But the truth is, if you hadn't had so much debt to begin with, you wouldn't have had to go bankrupt. All right, we have to acknowledge our part in all of this. And again, you may not like it, but it is the truth. And I've told y'all several times, if y'all been around a while, that when we went through our financial crisis, the truth was, yes, we lost 80% of our business. It's also when the market started turning down, and we had to do a modification on our house. We couldn't make our payment. But the truth, the bottom line of all of it was, had I not had six-figure debt, if I hadn't have done that to ourselves to begin with, when we lost the business, it wouldn't have torn us apart, right? So I have to accept my part in what happens. And that is where you get the freedom. I mean, really, that's where you get the freedom, when you can really acknowledge and take responsibility for the things that happen in your life. You cannot control the passing of a loved one, someone having cancer, someone even having COVID, all of those things. We can't control that, but we can control how we think about it and what we're going to do with the information. How are we going to do our lives? How are we going to do our life every day based on the circumstances that we're in? All right. Number 3 is negative thoughts. And yeah, we all know about those negative thoughts. And I'm, for the purpose of this illustration, talking about, instead of thinking about all the things you can't do, you cannot do, we need to start really looking at what can we do. We can still reach out and call our mom or sister or best friend on the phone. We can get on Zoom and have wonderful conversations. Zoom is probably, I wish I had stock in Zoom, because I think they have 10 times, 20 times their business since this whole thing started, because people now are learning how to do it and use it, and they like it. And I think many people will continue because it's nice. We had a family gathering. Both my kids are in Kansas City, and my brother and my mother are in Phoenix, and my sister's here. And on, I don't remember what day. It doesn't matter. But We did. We got in. We did a Zoom with everybody. Well, we had never even done that before. Actually, not only were they on, all of our kids. We had a gathering. My brother has 6 kids, and most of them, I think they all except one, have are married or have a significant other, and their kids. So we had this huge like family reunion on Zoom. Those are the things we can do. We can send cards and make a difference in people's lives. We can reach out even on the telephone. We can go out and take a walk in the neighborhoods or go to the park and enjoy nature. Those are the things we can do instead of letting our mind go down the negative side of, what I can't do this. I can't get together and have lunch with my friend, although that's changing. And by the time the next few weeks, that probably won't even be an issue anymore. So again, stop the negative thoughts, because here's what happens. What you think about defines you. So if you're always thinking in that negative zone, if you're always going back to the hurt, going back to the blame, looking at what you can't do instead of what you can do, that's what defines you, and that's what's going to determine where you go from here and what success you're going to have, what happiness, what joy. Look for the joy, look for the miracles, because they're out there every day. They just are. Every day there's miracles out there. And sometimes when we turn on the TV, we actually see some wonderful things of people reaching out and helping each other and making a difference. But we can each do that too. So I've heard some great stories that during this time have happened. And what else can you do? Many people are having family dinners that they haven't had for years because our schedules have been so busy that we haven't had time to do that, right? So that has been a good positive change. And I'm hoping for many families that will continue. My sister, I use my sister as an example a lot. We're very close, and so our lives often parallel. But she has this new young child who's 6 years old, and she has been a single mom and working. And up until this time, she's never had the time to be with him every day, and she is like loving it. Matter of fact, she's trying to figure out how she can not go back to work and work from home so that she can be with him, and he'll go to school, but she'll be there when he gets home and all those things. I was blessed to have that. I was blessed to be able to be home with my kids. Now, that's not everybody's choice, and that's great, but that was my choice. I really wanted that. So looking at what we can do, what positive changes can we make through this whole thing, and see where it goes. It could be very exciting. All right, then number 4. So number 1 was forgiveness. We need to forgive. 2 is we need to stop blaming, and look at who are we blaming and then forgive them. Look at 3, the negative thoughts. Are we living in a scarcity mentality? We think it will never end. What's going to happen? I don't have any money. Money is out there, you guys. We just have to figure out a different way to get it. I mean, that's, so maybe you have to get a different job. Maybe you've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and this is the time that's going to have that. So there's a lot around there. And then pay attention. Pay attention to where you're going, who you're talking to, and what you're listening to. That paying attention is very important. Think about who you're spending time with. Now, again, since we've been in stay-home mode, you've been home more than likely with your kids or your family or just maybe your husband. Bill and I are together, but we're not with our kids. So who do you spend time with? Who do you get on the phone and call? Who do you do Zoom calls with? So think about that. Who are you spending time with? And are they negative? Do they pull you down? Do you have people that when they call you go, yeah. I have had a few of those. I can't think of any that I have right now, so yay. Because I choose to surround myself with people that have the same mindset, that we are like-minded. Like most of you out there, my great friends that are out there on Tuesday mornings and in Jumpstart and the Fun Fearless Female. We come together as Christian women. So we start there from our mindset, our like-mindedness, right? And then having dinners or coffee or tea with people that are like-minded with you, that have that positive thing, that are looking towards the future. And if you're hanging with, or you have someone in your life that is always belittling others, so many times they have to talk about other people to make themselves feel better. That's what they're doing. They don't have enough self-esteem or self-worth of their own, so they tear others down, even you, they'll tear you down so they feel better about themselves. So pay attention to that. And those are poisonous relationships. And those are relationships that you are going to need to let go of or spend as little time as possible. And I know sometimes they're in your families, and that makes it more challenging. But pay attention to who you're surrounding yourself with. Pay attention to what are you listening to. Are you watching the news every day? Are you spending hours in front of the TV? Because I can promise you, if that's the case, you are already in a negative mindset. It's a hurtful, painful, negative mindset. And I'm not saying don't ever listen to the news, but moderate, how much you listen to, and be open to the goodness that could be lying underneath it. Because, we know there's CNN and we know there's Fox News. Somewhere between the two is the truth. Because I don't think either one of them tell 100%, because there's agendas out there. That's just my opinion. You don't have to take that as gospel truth for sure. But I'm just saying, you need to be able to discern that yourself. But the more you listen to it, the more it brings you down. So be careful with that. Where are you spending your time? What things are you listening to? What activities are you in? Now again, we haven't been in too many activities, but think back before COVID, because you're going to be looking to, are you going to keep doing the things that you were doing, or are you going to make change? We've kind of been pushed into a situation of having to make change, and I think it's great. I'm hearing some things, again, people who want to continue to work at home. One of the, someone that works with Bill said, this is really working. I'm getting more work done. I'm not spending, an hour and a half on the road every day. And she's hoping that they will allow her to keep working from home, at least most of the time. There may be times she has to go in, but, so people are finding that out. Employees are finding that out, that, gosh, work is being done. People aren't here. We might not need as much office space as we did before. Let's allow people that freedom, because they know whether the work's getting done or not. So those are kind of the changes. So paying attention to what's around you, pay attention to the people that you're talking to, the people that you're listening to. And when you do these things, what I hope for you is that you will see how you can shine. That's what it's about. Shine like stars in the universe. That's Philippians 2:14, I think. It's one of my favorite verses, because for so many years, I did not shine with the gifts God gave me. I had the gifts and I loved them, and I loved to do that. My enthusiasm, the energy that I have, those things. But I kept thinking I was supposed to not do that. I was supposed to, from my Christian upbringing, this was just my mindset. Okay, this is one of the lies that I believed, was that I was supposed to hold back. I wasn't supposed to be vivacious. I wasn't supposed to be enthusiastic because it brought too much attention to me. Well, out of the blue, as God would have it, it's just so cool how that happened. I came across this verse. Now, that verse has been in the Bible this whole time. I am sure I've read it before, because in Philippians, I've read Philippians many times. It's like one of my favorites. And in that, it says, shine like stars in the universe as you hold out the word of truth. So it gave me, I saw that, and for me, that was my aha moment. God gave me these gifts. He gave you the gifts you had so that you will shine like stars in the universe as you hold out the word of truth. What message do you have for the world? Everybody has one. You have a message of either love or peace or joy, or how to get past circumstances. Maybe you've been through a lot and you came out and you can share that journey with other people. I don't know what yours is, but we all have it, because God already set us apart for that. So shine so bright that either others, they may just have to get out of your way, because they cannot take your brightness. If they're negative and they're living in a dark place, they're not going to be able to take your darkness. Love them anyway. We want to love everyone around us. We don't want to judge them. We don't want to be cruel or be mean, any of those things. But we do not have to stay in that negative place. We do not have to hang out with those friends who bring us down, who make us frustrated. Those people in our lives that squash it? Is that the right word? Squash your fire, try to take a squirt bottle, and they're trying to get rid of your shine that you have, that God's given you. Let the glory of Christ shine through you. Be the person He created you to be. And it starts by some of these things. Don't, get rid of the blame and the guilt. Forgive yourself. Forgive others. Pay attention to who you're hanging around. Because then it frees up your time for good things. If you're not going to that meeting, that every time you go, you roll your eyes and say, why do I even do this? Then maybe it's time to let go. Maybe it's time to let go of that, because it sounds, if that's the case, that that's not really benefiting you, and it probably isn't benefiting them, even though you think maybe it is. So I don't know. It's time to look at those things, right? All right. So do we have any last minute comments over here in our chat box? I'm so glad that y'all are here. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Ursula, yay, glad to be here. I am so glad. And Ursula, I want to encourage you to go over to Jumpstart, and I'll put the link. It's called Jumpstart Challenge Group. And there's a whole bunch of jump starts, but I encourage you to come join. Actually, I want to encourage all of you to come join. Kathy's been in there. Hey, Kathy, good morning. And Tina, good morning. Also you, actually all of you. I shouldn't just individualize you. But yes, so we do have, Grace, thank you. We have to get past the blame to accomplish forgiveness. Very, very true. Sherry, good morning. Thanks for your little picture. Ursula, trying to figure out how to work from home. Absolutely. Because I know that is your heart's desire. I know that it has been for a while. Let's see. Sherry says, what? That Bible verse. What Bible verse is that again, about the shining and the star, like stars in the universe? I'm pretty sure it is Philippians 2:14. So it's right about it. And it says, in this dark and cruel world, shine like stars in the universe as you hold out the word of truth, so that you will be found blameless from there on, something like that. But it is, but I took out that part because that gave me permission to be who God created me to be, because I held back for the first, oh my goodness, maybe at least 30, if not the first 35 years of my life, I held back. And I think the reason that I liked to be as an actor, I like to be in music, and I like to, be on stage, because then I took on a character of someone else. And I could be that character and shine and do, but it took me until that verse to give me permission to shine and give all that I am to the glory of God. So it was like, thank you, Lord, I feel so free. So maybe that'll help you, maybe that'll free you, but you each have a way to shine. So it's no mistake that I am on here. It is no mistake. I believe that whoever shows up are meant to show up. Karen, I forgive my ex-husband because he gave me the two best kids in the world. They are awesome fathers, unlike him. Good for you. Good for you. Hi, Burton. It's so nice to have you. Hey, I'm going to just say to you right out loud now, I would love to have a conversation with you sometime. So let's connect, let's message, and set up a time that maybe we can have a Zoom call together. I'd just love to have a chat. All right. And Jessica, yay. All right. Well, we are at the top of the hour. The time goes so fast, you guys. And I want to thank you again for giving your time, for being here. If you can join us again, I invite all of you to join Jumpstart, because we still have today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. And then I will also give you an opportunity to continue with the mindset, the changing of our mindset, renewing our mind, because it doesn't happen overnight. And you're going to we all need to continue to do things. Y'all, let me just tell you, I am in study all the time myself. I can't stay in this place without keeping my mind fresh and new. So I think that everybody needs that. I don't know anybody that can just do it all by themselves without any positive input in other people sharing that with you. So, okay, Allison, thank you. So it's Philippians 2:15, not 14. Thank you very much. I love it when you guys help me out and look up those things. And like I said, sometimes I just when I start in and I have, what I'm going to talk about, where it all goes, I don't know. That's just how God unveils things, in me when I'm doing it. So I feel blessed about that. So you can jump on Jumpstart in 30 minutes. I will be starting the Jumpstart lesson. And it's actually, today is 7 steps to renew your mind. And so we're going to go with some different steps. We've been talking about all different kinds of things all week. And then tomorrow is going to be Scripture Day. I am going to go down and I'm going to give you a whole bunch of scriptures that I have researched and found to share with you about abundant thinking, about changing your mindset to believe what God says about you. So that's on for tomorrow. But today is 7 steps to renewal. And then we do have our Fun Fearless Female, and all of you, I think, are in, except for Burton, are in Fun Fearless Female. And we have a 9:30 Pacific time, 11:30 Central time. What is usually our second Tuesday lunch. So this is our lunch on Zoom, and you're welcome to join me in that and all of us. So thank you so much. You're awesome. Please think about those things that are stealing your time. Look at them for yourself. Look at where you need to make the change, because you deserve to have the joy. You deserve to have the future that God has planned for you, that He's laid out. He has so many beautiful things waiting, but it takes some steps on our part to get there. All right, everybody, take care. Have a great week. And remember that it is your choice. Bye now.